we're moving to Janine Opheim, who is in Norway, and so it's getting very late for you. Thanks for thanks for staying with us and guiding us through this next phase of Jupiter moving into Gemini. Janine is an evolutionary astrologer and a triple Gemini herself. She is deeply committed, passionate, and warm-hearted astrologer. She aims to bring inspiration, guidance, transformative power to her client and support them to live their best life possible. And I would like to add that Janine is an animal communicator and has spent many years cultivating those skills and helping people understand their animals, whether it's pets or other encounters. I will let Janine expand on that. So thank you.
Thank you, Maurice. All right. Okay, so thanks, Maurice, so much for that introduction and also for your amazing guidance and organizing this opportunity for us. And thank you to all the amazing speakers for sharing your wisdom, which is a really good example of Jupiter in Gemini right there. So as Maurice said, I'm Janine Opheim, and I'm really, really happy to be bringing you this presentation about Jupiter in Gemini. I was introduced to astrology when I met Maurice in 2012, interestingly, during the previous Jupiter in Gemini cycle. And I received my diploma from his School of Evolutionary Astrology in September this year. And as he said, I'm also an animal communicator and a Kundalini yoga teacher. So on Sunday, 26th May 2024 at 1:15 a.m. Central European Time, Jupiter moves into Gemini. Venus and the Sun will have moved into Gemini just prior to this. The Sun is usually close by when a planet moves into a new sign. The last time Jupiter was in Gemini was the latter half of 2012 and the earlier half of 2013, and this is a similar cycle. So have a think back to that time to remember what you experienced, because there may be links between then and this next transit. So the dates on the screen here, previous transits of Jupiter in Gemini with a few retrograde periods. I'm not going to read the dates out, but if you were born within any of these dates, then you're probably having a Jupiter in Gemini. Then you probably have Jupiter in Gemini and therefore having a Jupiter return, which means Jupiter is returning to the same place when you were born. So this can be a really important milestone. There can be new opportunities for travel. There can be a time to expand intellectually, or you can simply feel that you've achieved something important in your life. And if anyone was born in 1965-66, then this could also be a simultaneous Saturn return, which is a really important milestone that can involve some big themes like retirement, change of career, or even grandchildren. So expansive Jupiter meets curious Gemini. So let's just explore Jupiter and Gemini separately for a moment. So Jupiter represents our yearning to find meaning so we can better cope with suffering and make positive changes in our lives. It helps us to expand to a greater perspective. As Jupiter rules Sagittarius, it reacts to the deep emotional challenges that we experience in the previous phase of Scorpio. Jupiter looks for positivity and tells us there's more to life than struggle, that there must be something better coming, and it's the urge to go beyond what meets the eye. For development, it is necessary to take risks and exaggerate and push boundaries. So Jupiter can push too much and go overboard in the quest to develop. The universe is flexible, but there are still limits. So this can create karma, which Saturn will bring accountability to. Excuse me. Wherever Jupiter is located, transiting, there's a yearning for hope and a greater meaning grows. Jupiter is also related to untamed and raw nature, as well as the yearning to be our wild, free, and authentic selves. Gemini relates to our need to understand our environment for the purpose of gaining control over our lives, to avoid crisis, and for our ultimate survival. The more we know, the better we can navigate life. As a triple Gemini, when I was younger, I was known as a jack of all trades, master of none, because I would flit from one thing to the other, not understanding what the driving mechanism was. It was like having an insatiable appetite for learning as many topics as possible. The more diverse, the better. But this can lead to overstimulation and being scattered. Once Gemini is comfortable with their own environment, they may want to learn about other environments and how other people do life. So they begin to travel, collecting information, learning new languages, and having new experiences. They tend to be open-minded because they're so aware that people do things very differently from each other. And they also tend to be more neutral because they're an air sign. Geminis are aware of the wholeness, the interconnectedness of everything, and can see when two different parts can work well together. So as I mentioned before, Jupiter rules the sign of Sagittarius. Sagittarius and Gemini are opposite each other in the chart. Both Jupiter and Gemini want to understand more. Jupiter emphasizes the yearning to learn more or gain greater meaning, and Gemini adds the need to know, but focuses more on rational thinking and exploring all of life's principles. So there's a real focus on the expansion of the mind with this transit. So the evolutionary purpose of Jupiter in Gemini is to unify the left and right brain, and I'm going to talk about that more in a moment, to expand our minds, our ideas, and our beliefs, and learn from the diversity of different perspectives from other cultures, other belief systems, other genders, other species, to help us deepen our sense of meaning and give us new perspectives. To build bridges of understanding between our differences and to develop ourselves to reach a sense of mastery and then share our wisdom. So unifying the left and right brain. So Jupiter represents the right brain, which is more abstract and bigger picture oriented and can be quite intuitive. The left brain, represented by Gemini, is more rational and has to do with organizing, details, and empirical knowledge. When Jupiter is in Gemini, it's an opportunity to bridge the two hemispheres of the brain, which can mean bring creative and bigger picture thinking to the sciences and to the critical mind. And if someone is too out there, too abstract, then they'll need critical thinking to ground their ideas. If someone's too stuck in the rational mind, then Jupiter and Gemini can inspire creativity and the exploration of looking for the deeper meanings. So some potential breakthroughs during this time. It's a time when you can free your mind, where you may question all that you know and explore new paradigms and possibly come up with some new realizations about yourself and life. There can be more desire to understand the cause of conflicts, a willingness to put weapons down and discuss the issues. New alliances can be formed. We're going to be branching out and connecting between cultures. There can be an openness to learning and understanding more about minorities and even lesser known cultures and indigenous belief systems. People may be more vocal about their grievances, so we may see more street protests in the early stages when Jupiter is trining Pluto in Aquarius. This is going to be extra powerful. If you're in the process of building your practice, then it can be a time where there's an opportunity to grow online. There could be a breakthrough in online visibility because both Jupiter and Gemini are related to networking. So the interconnectivity can also mean expanding your network. All the media components are really highlighted during this time. So if you've been thinking of getting a YouTube channel up and running, this is a great time. And if you're writing a book, depending on how this fits with your own chart, this could be a really good time to look at publishing. So as an animal communicator, I have a deep connection to animals and nature. So I'm really excited about this transit from that perspective. There could be a drive to get to a deeper layer of awareness around the holistic nature of all things, how everything on Earth is connected. There may be more awareness about the intelligence of animals. Maybe there'll be breakthroughs in understanding how animals think, feel, communicate, which will hopefully mean more consideration of animals. There could be more research and awareness of building roads through migration routes and a creation of more nature corridors. Jupiter in Gemini is quite literally nature and animal communication, so it might inspire more people to learn to communicate with animals and nature. And maybe even some schools will introduce animal communication as part of their curriculum. So the potential shadow side, people can be overconfident, go overboard. There can be copywriting issues with people taking ownership of knowledge that isn't theirs. So bear that in mind as you read articles on the web. Jupiter and Gemini can have bright ideas with really good intentions, but not be so grounded, or they talk big and don't put anything into action. So when you have those big ideas, make sure they're relevant and that you put the theory into practice. There can be misinformation or a warping of the truth, which can lead to conspiracy theories. And take, for example, the US election next year. The potential for lies and false news is highly probable. With Gemini relating to information, Jupiter in Gemini could bring an explosion of AI technologies, as several people have already mentioned today, which could bring a further disconnection between the left and right brain. But there are, as Key said, there are some positives with AI. And for example, I read an article yesterday about some researchers using AI to investigate signs of pain in cats. And the AI found it was the cat's mouth that was the most important facial feature in accurate pain recognition, which no human had found before. So some transits to look at, which we've been through a few of these already, but Pluto's going to trine Jupiter on the 22nd of May next year. So it's a really powerful time where we can see more, we could see more AI breakthroughs, continued space travel, as Hannah talked about. This could be a positive time for astrology, with there being more in-depth astrology courses available, producing ethical and responsible astrologers. Clients will have a more positive and empowering experience, leading to more people believing in astrology. On the 14th of August, 2024, we have a Grand Cross, which is the chart you can see on the screen. And this could bring the themes that I've been talking about to a climax, both the positive and the shadow. With Mars conjunct Jupiter, it could increase the need for more forceful vocalization of grievances. And then because of the Saturn square, there could be more defiance towards authorities. So there can be a lot of controversy about who or what is right or wrong. So here's some interesting events from previous Jupiter in Gemini transits. Wikipedia was launched on the 15th of January 2001. And it was initially in English, but is now in 339 languages. Duolingo and Memrise are two language apps. They were released to the public during this transit. These two apps include courses with rare and fictional languages that actually saved some languages from going extinct. And they also include rewards that make every correct answer feel like amazing for the learners. And language is related to Gemini and rewards is related to Jupiter. Gangnam Style is a song from South Korean rapper Psy. It went viral with his dance that looks like he's riding a horse, and Jupiter is related to horses. And as of now, it has almost 5 billion views on YouTube. And binge watching became a household term. And anything to do with binging is related to Jupiter because of its expansive qualities, and words are related to Gemini. So my wish for this transit is that it inspires a positive shift in openness and understanding to all those who are different from us. And so it is. So I hope you found this helpful. For those astrology and animal lovers out there, I'd like to invite you to join myself and Dr. Catherine O'Connell, who's an astrologer, psychologist, and animal lover. I believe she's on this call right now. Join us on social media, where we'll be talking about the different facets of this exciting combination. On Facebook, it's Animal Stars, and Instagram and YouTube, it's Astrology and Animals. So that's all from me. I am available for readings. You can book directly on my website, where I have some seasonal special offers up right now. You can also join my newsletter. The website, JanineUpheim.com. Email is JanineUpheim@gmail.com. Facebook and Instagram, Janine Upheim Astrology. Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you, Janine. And comments are really supportive for everyone. Someone wrote, I found this personally helpful, very well organized, inspirational, thoughtful presentation. Thank you, Janine. Very clear.
Thank you.
And helpful. Beautiful. And indeed, the animal communication aspect is fascinating. You know, we think about Gemini's communication, but it's not just, you know, vocal. It's not just sound. It can be all types of communications, especially with Jupiter.